In the heart of North America lies a state of breathtaking scale and wild beauty, a land where the horizon stretches endlessly and the wild remains untamed. Wyoming is a realm of vast open spaces where rolling sagebrush plains give way to rugged escarpments and ancient rock formations. Here, the land itself tells a story written over eons, its valleys carved by glaciers, its mountains thrust skyward by tectonic power, and its canyons etched by the patient work of wind and water. Nearly half of Wyoming's expanse is preserved as wild sanctuary, a mosaic of dense pine forests, sprawling grasslands, and crystalline rivers. In these untouched domains, wildlife flourishes. Wolves slip like shadows through the timber, grizzly bears lumber across berry-laden meadows, and immense herds of bison graze beneath the open sky. Overhead, bald eagles wheel on thermals, their sharp eyes scanning the land below. Dawn breaks in a symphony of color, painting the sky in hues of gold and rose as rivers wind through silent valleys. Mist rises from the water, drifting through stands of aspen and cottonwood, while the distant peaks of the Tetons and Absarokas catch the first light, their jagged silhouettes etched against the morning sky. At the heart of this wilderness lie Yellowstone and Grand Teton national parks, two jewels in a crown of wildness. Yellowstone, the world's first national park, is a land of superlatives, vast forests, roaring waterfalls, and steaming geothermal basins where the Earth's power is on full display. The greater Yellowstone ecosystem, nearly intact and immense, is a living testament to the resilience of nature. Here, boiling hot springs bubble beside rivers locked in winter's icy grip. Geysers erupt in plumes of steam, while herds of bison thunder across the plains, their hooves shaking the earth. Elk bugle in the crisp autumn air, and otters slip through clear, cold streams, hunting for trout beneath the surface. To the south, the Grand Tetons rise in a sudden, breathtaking sweep from the valley floor, granite spires crowned with snow, their faces catching the shifting light of dawn and dusk. Below, Jackson Hole is a lush glacial valley, where braided rivers meander through willow thickets and wildflowers bloom in riotous color each summer. Across this contiguous wilderness, ancient migrations continue. Elk and bison traverse open meadows and dense forests, following routes etched into memory by generations past. Predators and prey enact the timeless drama of survival, their movements shaping the land as much as the land shapes them. The diversity here is astonishing. Alpine meadows burst with lupine and paintbrush, while dense forests shelter lynx, pine marten, and secretive owls. In the high country, pikas gather grass for winter, and mountain goats scale sheer cliffs. In the lowlands, pronghorn antelope race the wind, and sandhill cranes dance in marshy wetlands. Seasons transform the land in dramatic fashion. Spring brings torrents of meltwater, swelling rivers and painting the valleys green. Summer's warmth fills the air with the hum of insects and the calls of nesting birds. Autumn cloaks the forests in gold and crimson, while winter descends in silence, blanketing the world in snow and ice, and revealing the tracks of animals that endure the cold. In Wyoming's wilderness, the story of the wild is written anew each day, an epic of survival, adaptation, and resilience. Here, the land remains a sanctuary for the untamed, a living masterpiece sculpted by time, weather, and the indomitable spirit of nature itself. As winter unfurls its icy grip across Wyoming's Yellowstone, the land is sculpted into a realm where elemental forces collide in a relentless contest for dominance. Perched atop a vast plateau, Yellowstone endures a siege of cold that stretches for months, its high elevation amplifying the severity of winter's assault. Arctic air masses driven southward by powerful jet streams sweep over the park, unleashing blizzards that bury forests and valleys beneath meters of crystalline snow. In the winter of 2026, the Arctic Oscillation intensified, plunging temperatures to a bone-chilling -40 degrees Celsius, freezing the landscape into a silent, glittering expanse. Here, survival is a daily reckoning. Bison, with their massive heads, sweep aside snow to graze on buried grasses, while elk huddle against the wind, their thick coats trapping precious warmth. Yet beneath this frozen kingdom, a hidden force pulses, a furnace of unimaginable power that shapes the land from below. Yellowstone sits atop a restless supervolcano, its magma chamber simmering just kilometers beneath the surface, fueling a network of geothermal marvels. The caldera, a vast depression formed by ancient eruptions, is a testament to the park's volatile origins. Here, tectonic plates stretch and fracture, allowing heat and minerals to surge upward. Superheated water, forced through fissures in the Earth's crust, erupts as geysers and hot springs, their plumes of steam defying the frigid air. Over 10,000 geothermal features, geysers, hot springs, and bubbling mud pots dot the landscape, each a window into the planet's fiery heart. These thermal oases carve out pockets of warmth, melting snow, and exposing earth, where bison and elk gather to escape the relentless cold. Old Faithful, the park's iconic geyser, erupts with clockwork precision, hurling columns of near-boiling water skyward, a dramatic display of subterranean energy. At Mammoth Hot Springs, mineral-rich water sculpts terraces of gleaming travertine, the 80-degree flow cascading over limestone in a perpetual dance of heat and ice. The Gardner River, fed by these hot springs, remains unfrozen even in the coldest months, its banks a refuge for animals seeking liquid water and warmth. Recent studies reveal a marked increase in wildlife clustering around these geothermal sanctuaries, underscoring their vital role as climate patterns shift and winters grow harsher. For Yellowstone's inhabitants, these features are not mere curiosities. They are lifelines, sustaining life when the world above is locked in ice. Geothermal heat melts away snow, revealing tufts of grass and sedge, critical forage for herbivores whose survival depends on these rare exposed patches. Rivers warmed by geothermal outflows remain liquid, providing drinking water and hunting grounds for otters, eagles, and other predators even in the heart of winter. Steam-heated earth offers a rare respite, where bison and elk rest, their bodies pressed to the warm ground, shielded from the bitter chill above. In this landscape, the interplay of fire and ice is ceaseless, each shaping the other, forging a world of stark contrasts and fragile balance. Here, the frozen silence of winter is pierced by the hiss of steam and the roar of geysers, a vivid testament to the ongoing dialogue between the planet's inner heat and the relentless cold above. Beneath Yellowstone's breathtaking surface, a world of extraordinary power simmers in silence. The park's iconic geysers, bubbling hot springs, and steaming fumaroles are only the visible hints of a vast, restless energy hidden below. Yellowstone sits atop a geological hotspot, a colossal upwelling of molten rock that rises from deep within the Earth's mantle, fueling a dynamic system unlike any other on the continent. This immense heat has carved out two enormous magma chambers, layered one above the other, each pulsing with molten and semi-molten rock. The upper chamber, a complex blend of solidified and molten material, lies between 5 and 17 kilometers beneath the Earth, its heat radiating upward to power the park's geothermal marvels. Far below, the lower reservoir dwarfs the upper, holding enough molten rock to fill the Grand Canyon more than 10 times, a staggering volume that underscores the scale of this hidden engine. This is the heart of the Yellowstone supervolcano, a living system of heat and pressure among the largest and most active volcanic complexes on Earth. The land itself bears the scars and signatures of ancient cataclysms, vast calderas, lava flows, and uplifted plateaus, each a chapter in the ongoing story of destruction and renewal. Over the past 2 million years, Yellowstone has unleashed at least 3 super-eruptions, each reshaping the continent and altering the course of life itself. The most recent, 640,000 years ago, was a VEI-8 event, an explosion so immense it blanketed much of North America in ash and darkness. Over 1,000 cubic kilometers of rock and ash were hurled skyward, the land collapsing to form the vast caldera that now cradles Yellowstone's lakes, forests, and valleys. This single event sculpted the mountains, plateaus, and basins that define the park today, a living testament to the planet's power to both destroy and create. If such a force were to awaken again, the consequences would be beyond comprehension, with devastation radiating far beyond the park's borders. The initial eruption would unleash pyroclastic flows, scalding avalanches of gas and debris, obliterating everything in their path, temperatures soaring to 800 degrees Celsius. A suffocating blanket of ash would settle over 3/4 of the United States, smothering crops, clogging rivers, and transforming the landscape into a barren wasteland. The eruption would inject vast quantities of ash and sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere, blotting out sunlight and plunging the world into a volcanic winter. Temperatures dropping, seasons shifting, ecosystems struggling to survive. These forces remind us that the ground beneath Yellowstone is alive, shifting and changing in ways both subtle and profound. Today, the Yellowstone Volcano Observatory vigilantly tracks every tremor and shift, using a network of sensors to monitor the volcano's pulse. As of early 2026, the system remains stable, with no signs of imminent eruption. The land gently rises and falls each year, a silent dance as magma and hydrothermal fluids ebb and flow beneath the surface, nourishing the park's geothermal wonders. Yet, even as the supervolcano slumbers, smaller but dramatic events occur. Hydrothermal eruptions, violent bursts of steam and boiling water, can reshape the landscape in an instant. In 2024, such an explosion rocked Biscuit Basin, a reminder of the unpredictable power that lies just beneath the surface. These geothermal forces are not merely destructive, they are also life-giving. The heat and minerals from below sustain a vibrant ecosystem, creating unique habitats where rare microbes thrive, lush meadows bloom in winter, and wildlife gathers around steaming vents. Yellowstone's volcanic heart is the source of its wild beauty, its danger, and its enduring mystery. In Yellowstone, winter transforms the landscape into a realm of ice and silence, where only the most resilient wildlife endure. The season brings relentless cold, deep snow, and scarce food, demanding extraordinary adaptations from every creature that calls this wilderness home. The plains bison, relics of a prehistoric era, are among the most iconic survivors. Their immense bodies and thick layered coats provide insulation so effective that snow piles atop their backs, refusing to melt even in the warmth of their breath. This dense fur traps heat, allowing bison to conserve energy during the coldest months. Their metabolism slows, and every movement is calculated to preserve precious calories. To access the grasses buried beneath the snow, bison use their massive heads as living snowplows, swinging them side to side to clear drifts that can reach over 1 meter deep. This powerful foraging is essential for survival, as each mouthful of grass is hard-won. Some bison seek out geothermal areas where the ground is bare and foraging is easier, yet these warm refuges come with hidden dangers. The sulphurous steam can damage sensitive lungs, and the mineral-laden water wears down teeth, shortening lifespans. Even in apparent sanctuary, winter's cost is steep. Despite these hardships, bison herds remain strong, their resilience a testament to the power of adaptation in the face of relentless winter. Where herbivores gather, predators are never far behind. The snow records every movement, tracks of hunter and hunted, crisscrossing the frozen ground. The Northwestern grey wolf, Yellowstone's apex predator, is built for the rigors of winter. Its thick fur, keen senses, and powerful limbs make it a formidable hunter in the snow. Wolves hunt in highly organized packs, relying on cooperation and strategy. Their endurance allows them to pursue prey for miles, and their intelligence enables them to adapt tactics to the ever-changing conditions. A wolf pack's pursuit of a bison is a test of patience and teamwork. They exploit the deep snow and icy rivers, seeking to exhaust and isolate their quarry. Success is rare, but a single kill can sustain the pack for days. Wolves' large, splayed paws act as natural snowshoes, distributing their weight and allowing them to move swiftly across the drifts. Their powerful jaws and sharp teeth are essential tools for both hunting and feeding. In the pale light of winter, wolves become ghostly figures, gliding through the mist and snow, masters of the frozen hunt. Yellowstone's winter is a stage for many hunters, each with unique strategies for survival. The solitary cougar, elusive and powerful, roams territories that can span hundreds of square kilometers. Its stealth and strength make it a formidable ambush predator, even in the depths of winter. When prey is scarce, cougars become opportunists, scavenging on carcasses left by wolves or the cold. This adaptability is vital for survival when hunting is most difficult. The bobcat, smaller but no less resourceful, thrives through adaptability. Its dense fur shields it from the cold, and its keen senses guide it through the snow. Bobcats often hunt near geothermally heated streams, where open water attracts prey and provides rare opportunities in the frozen landscape. With remarkable precision, the bobcat calculates the angle of light in the water, striking with lightning speed to catch fish, a vital food source when rodents are hidden deep beneath the snow. Smaller predators, too, have evolved ingenious methods to survive the winter's challenges. The red fox uses its large, sensitive ears to detect the faintest sounds of voles tunneling beneath the snow. With a sudden acrobatic leap, it dives headfirst, breaking through the crust to snatch its hidden prey. Coyotes employ a similar strategy, triangulating the position of their prey by sound before pouncing with precision. Even the birds of Yellowstone have developed remarkable adaptations to survive the winter's severity. The American dipper, a small, unassuming songbird, remains in Yellowstone year-round, braving the cold that drives most birds away. It dives into frigid, fast-flowing rivers, walking along the streambed in search of aquatic insects, a rare food source in the frozen world. A transparent third eyelid shields its eyes underwater, while elevated hemoglobin levels in its blood allow it to remain submerged for extended periods. In the heart of winter, the dipper is a tiny marvel of endurance and adaptation, thriving where few others can. As the iron grip of winter finally loosens, a profound transformation sweeps across Yellowstone. The snowpack, once a silent shroud, recedes to reveal a world stirring with anticipation. The melting snow swells the rivers and streams, their banks overflowing with icy water. The landscape, once a stark canvas of white and grey, is now painted with vibrant greens as grasses surge upward and mosses revive on damp stones. This is the great thaw, a time of renewal and explosive life. Meadows erupt in a riot of colour as wildflowers bloom in succession, each species taking its turn in the sun. Migratory animals that left for warmer climes begin their long journeys back to the park's lush summer pastures. Elk and bison traverse the valleys, joined by pronghorn and mule deer, all drawn by the promise of abundant forage. The air, once silent and still, fills with the chorus of returning birds. Tree swallows and warblers dart through the canopy, their songs weaving a tapestry of sound that heralds the arrival of a season of abundance. For the animals that endured the harsh winter, it is a time of relief and opportunity. Grazers feast on tender shoots, while smaller mammals emerge from hibernation to take advantage of the bounty. One of the most ancient and dramatic arrivals is that of the sandhill crane, their silhouettes gliding over the awakening grasslands. These magnificent birds, with a fossil history stretching back millions of years, fill the air of Hayden Valley with their rattling primordial calls, amplified by their long, coiled tracheas. Their voices mingle with the morning mist, a sound unchanged by time. Here they perform their elaborate and graceful courtship dances, a timeless ritual celebrating the return of life. Each leap and bow strengthens the bonds that will carry them through the season. The park's high-elevation meadows also welcome back their smaller residents. Wildflowers attract bees and butterflies, each playing a vital role in the pollination that sustains the ecosystem. The American pika, a small relative of the rabbit, emerges from its rocky fortress, its sharp calls echoing among the boulders. Having survived the winter on meticulously gathered and stored collections of plants, it now busies itself with raising a new family in the brief alpine summer, gathering fresh greens to build new hay piles for the seasons ahead. The warming waters also trigger a crucial event for the entire ecosystem. Aquatic insects hatch in great numbers, providing food for fish and birds alike. In late May, the Yellowstone cutthroat trout, the park's native fish, begin their arduous migration from the deep waters of Yellowstone Lake into the shallower tributary streams to spawn. Their journey is fraught with obstacles, but essential for the next generation. For decades, their numbers were decimated by invasive lake trout, but after intensive removal efforts, the native population has made a remarkable comeback. Young trout now thrive in the clear, cold streams, a testament to the resilience of nature. By 2026, their spawning runs were once again a major event, providing a vital high-protein food source for a host of predators. Grizzly bears, otters and ospreys, all eagerly awaiting the feast along the stream banks. This annual pulse of life is the signal for the park's largest carnivores to emerge. Grizzly bears, wolves and coyotes all respond to the abundance, each playing their part in the intricate web of Yellowstone's food chain. Grizzly bears, having spent the long winter months in their dens, awaken with a voracious appetite. Their senses sharpen as they search for the first meals of spring. They enter a state known as hyperphagia, a feeding frenzy designed to replenish the body weight they lost during hibernation. Roots, shoots, and the first berries supplement their diet as they roam the greening landscape. With the return of the cutthroat trout, the bears have access to a rich and easily caught source of calories. Their fishing skills are on full display as they take advantage of the seasonal bounty. They can be seen patrolling the spawning streams, skillfully catching fish and consuming them in great numbers. Even their leftovers feed a host of scavengers, from ravens to foxes, ensuring nothing goes to waste. This feast is essential, allowing them to regain their strength and prepare for the cycle of life to begin anew. As the days lengthen and the land flourishes, Yellowstone stands as a living testament to the power of renewal and the intricate connections that bind all its wild inhabitants. In the intricate web of Yellowstone's summer ecosystem, certain species hold the entire structure together, Keystone species whose influence radiates through every layer of life. Their presence, behaviors, and interactions are the foundation upon which countless other species depend. The American beaver is a quintessential Keystone species. Its engineering prowess transforms the landscape, creating habitats that support a vast array of life. By felling trees and constructing dams, beavers slow the flow of water, forming ponds and wetlands that become the lifeblood of the summer ecosystem. The resurgence of beavers in Yellowstone is closely tied to the return of wolves. Wolves, another Keystone species, regulate elk populations, preventing overgrazing of willows and aspens. This allows riparian vegetation to flourish, providing beavers with the resources they need to thrive. Beavers are equipped with powerful iron-rich teeth capable of felling trees up to 15 centimeters thick in just 20 minutes. Their construction of dams and lodges is a feat of natural engineering, using logs, mud, and stones to reshape waterways. The wetlands and ponds created by beavers are oases of biodiversity. These habitats support fish, amphibians, insects, and waterfowl, each species finding shelter, food, and breeding grounds within the beaver's domain. By raising the water table, beavers create lush meadows and interconnected habitats. Their influence extends beyond their own needs, fostering entire communities of plants and animals that depend on the stability and resources beavers provide. Scientific studies reveal that beaver presence can increase local biodiversity by as much as 25%. Their role as ecosystem engineers is unmatched, demonstrating how one species can elevate the fortunes of many. The grizzly bear is another keystone species, its impact woven deeply into the summer landscape. As an apex omnivore, the grizzly's dietary habits and physical activities shape the ecosystem in profound ways. During summer hyperphagia, a single grizzly consumes over 200 species of plants and animals. Its relentless search for food leads it to berries, roots, insects, and fish, each meal connecting it to different parts of the ecosystem. When cutthroat trout are running, a grizzly can gain up to 1.5 kilograms in a single day. After catching fish, bears often transport their prey away from streams, leaving nutrient-rich remains that fertilize the forest floor. This process, known as nutrient transfer, moves marine-derived nitrogen and phosphorus from aquatic to terrestrial environments, boosting plant growth and supporting a cascade of life far from the water's edge. As grizzlies dig for roots, bulbs, and burrowing rodents, their claws aerate the soil, creating microhabitats for seeds to germinate and increasing plant diversity across the landscape. The interdependencies among keystone species are profound. Wolves regulate elk, enabling willows to grow, which feeds beavers, whose dams create wetlands for countless others. Grizzlies, in turn, redistribute nutrients and shape plant communities, their actions rippling through the food web. By dispersing seeds in their scat, controlling herbivore populations, and enriching the soil, grizzlies and beavers together maintain the health, diversity, and dynamism of Yellowstone's summer ecosystem. These keystone species are far more than inhabitants. They are the architects, gardeners, and engineers of the wild, their interwoven roles ensuring the survival and flourishing of Yellowstone's summer wilderness. Just south of Yellowstone's volcanic plateau, the Earth's restless power is on full display, sculpting a landscape of breathtaking grandeur and ancient mystery. Here, the Grand Tetons erupt from the Jackson Hole Valley floor, their snow-capped summits catching the first light of day, rising with astonishing abruptness and drama. Unlike most mountain ranges, the Tetons offer no gentle transition, no foothills to ease the climb. Instead, they soar skyward in a wall of granite, ice, and shadow, their vertical cliffs and spires a testament to the raw forces that shape them. These peaks are the exposed heart of an ancient range, carved from granite more than 2.5 billion years old, stone that has witnessed the rise and fall of continents. The mountains themselves were thrust skyward by the immense power of the Teton Fault, a 65-kilometer-long fracture in the Earth's crust that remains active, its slow, relentless movement still shaping the land. Even now, the Tetons continue their ascent, rising at a rate of about 1 millimeter per year, a silent, ceaseless journey skyward. This dramatic geology creates a world of contrasts, towering, jagged peaks above and below, lush meadows and wildflower-carpeted slopes, where life clings to every available niche. The saw-toothed summits, many soaring over 4,000 meters, stand in stark relief against the sagebrush plains, their silhouettes etched sharply against the endless Wyoming sky. Remnants of the last ice age, glaciers still cling to the highest cirques, their meltwater feeding crystalline alpine lakes and streams that carve deep canyons through the stone. This vertical world harbors a tapestry of habitats, from the lush, willow-lined banks of the Snake River to the windswept tundra at the summits, where only the hardiest plants survive. Lower down, dense forests of spruce and fir shelter a vibrant undergrowth, while subalpine meadows burst into color each summer, alive with wildflowers and pollinators. The fauna here are equally remarkable. Pika and marmots scurry among the rocks, mountain goats and bighorn sheep scale impossible heights, perfectly adapted to this rugged domain. In the meadows and forests, Elk and mule deer graze, while foxes and coyotes prowl the edges, each species playing its part in the intricate web of mountain life. Above, golden eagles and peregrine falcons ride the thermals, while Clark's nutcrackers and mountain bluebirds bring flashes of color to the high country. The valley of Jackson Hole is a vital refuge, its mosaic of wetlands and sagebrush providing winter sanctuary for elk and a corridor for the epic migration of pronghorn. The Snake River, winding through the valley, is the region's lifeblood, its waters nourishing beaver, otter, moose, and a dazzling array of birds and fish. Here, the interplay of mountain and valley, of light and shadow, creates a dynamic ecosystem, one of the most visually arresting and ecologically rich in North America. In this place, geology and biology are forever entwined, the shape of the land dictating the flow of life, forging a wilderness of rare beauty and profound significance. Grand Teton National Park is a mosaic of habitats, towering conifer forests, sprawling wetlands, alpine meadows, and rugged granite peaks, each sheltering a remarkable array of animal residents, all uniquely equipped for survival in this untamed wilderness. The Shiras moose, the park's largest herbivore, thrives in the lush, marshy lowlands. Its long legs and splayed hooves allow it to wade effortlessly through tangled willow thickets and deep, mucky waters in search of tender shoots. To access vital nutrients, the moose plunges its head beneath the surface, using muscular nostril valves to keep water out as it grazes on submerged vegetation, sometimes diving several meters deep for the richest aquatic plants. In the shadowy, snow-laden forests at higher elevations, the secretive Canada lynx prowls. Its dense silvery fur insulates against bitter cold, while its tufted ears and keen eyesight help it detect the faintest movement. The lynx's oversized fur-padded paws act as natural snowshoes, distributing its weight so it can silently pursue snowshoe hares across deep drifts, relying on stealth and sudden bursts of speed to ambush its elusive quarry. Above the forests, raptors command the skies, their sharp eyes scanning for the slightest movement below. The great grey owl, North America's largest owl, perches motionless among snow-draped pines, its ghostly plumage blending seamlessly with the winter landscape. With facial discs that funnel sound and asymmetrical ears, the owl can detect the faint rustle of a vole tunneling beneath half a meter of snow, striking with pinpoint accuracy guided by sound alone. Specialized fringed feathers along its wings break up airflow, allowing the owl to glide in absolute silence, descending on prey with deadly precision. On the sunlit grasslands, pronghorn antelope graze and sprint. Their enormous windpipes, oversized lungs, and powerful hearts fuel bursts of speed unmatched by any other North American mammal. Capable of reaching 90 kilometers per hour, pronghorns rely on their keen vision and explosive acceleration to evade predators, a legacy of ancient chases with now extinct American cheetahs. The vertical cliffs and crags of the Teton Range are the realm of the park's most agile mountaineers. Native bighorn sheep, with their massive spiraled horns and muscular frames, expertly traverse the steepest slopes, finding refuge from predators where few others can follow. During the rut, rams clash in thunderous battles, their skulls reinforced with double layers of bone and honeycomb structures that absorb the shock of impact, safeguarding their brains. Mountain goats, introduced to the region, scale sheer rock faces with uncanny balance. Their hooves, rimmed with hard keratin and cushioned by soft pads, grip the smallest ledges with precision. As their numbers grow, these sure-footed climbers increasingly compete with native bighorn sheep for the sparse alpine vegetation, subtly shifting the balance of this fragile ecosystem. In the most remote snowbound reaches, the wolverine roams, solitary, relentless, and supremely adapted to the cold. Despite weighing less than 15 kilograms, the wolverine's muscular build, powerful jaws, and rotated molars enable it to crush frozen bone and scavenge carcasses that other predators cannot access. Its dense, oily fur repels moisture and ice, while its stamina allows it to cover vast distances in search of food, even in the harshest winter conditions. Yet, the wolverine's future is uncertain, as it depends on deep spring snowpack for denning, a habitat increasingly threatened by warming temperatures and shrinking snowfields. From the black bear, fattening up on berries and nuts before winter's sleep, to the industrious pika, tirelessly gathering grasses to build its winter haystack among the rocks, every animal in Grand Teton is a testament to the intricate strategies and relentless determination required to survive in this wild, demanding land. The wild sanctuaries of Wyoming, for all their grandeur and resilience, are not immune to the relentless pressures of the modern era. These landscapes, shaped by millennia of natural forces, now stand at a crossroads, where the impacts of climate change and human encroachment converge. The dual threat of a warming planet and expanding development is reshaping the very boundaries of the wild. As cities and infrastructure push ever closer, the integrity of these ecosystems is tested as never before. Climate change is altering precipitation patterns, reducing snowpack and intensifying droughts. These shifts threaten the delicate balance that sustains Wyoming's rivers, forests, and grasslands. Glaciers in the Tetons are retreating at an unprecedented rate, their ancient ice vanishing and with it a critical source of cold, clean water for the region's ecosystems. The diminishing winter snowpack, once a reliable reservoir, now threatens water supplies for both wildlife and the land itself. Wildfires, fueled by hotter, drier conditions, are growing in size and intensity, leaving behind scarred landscapes and altering habitats for decades to come. These environmental changes ripple through the food web, forcing wildlife to adapt, migrate, or face decline. The pika, a sentinel of alpine health, is being driven higher up the mountains, its cool refuges shrinking as temperatures rise. Wolverines, dependent on deep spring snow for denning, now face a future where their critical habitat is disappearing, leading to their threatened status. Moose, too, are vulnerable. Heat stress forces them to seek shelter and water, reducing their ability to forage and thrive. As their energy is diverted to cooling down, their health and population suffer. Invasive species, new pathogens, and shifting plant communities are all symptoms of a changing climate, compounding the challenges for native flora and fauna. These disruptions create unprecedented obstacles for the survival of Wyoming's unique biodiversity. The ancient equilibrium of these wild places is being upended at a pace never before witnessed. Meanwhile, direct human impacts, roads, resource extraction, and infrastructure continue to fragment habitats and disrupt migration routes. The pronghorn's legendary migration, stretching over 270 kilometers, is now a gauntlet of barriers and hazards. Fences, highways, and development threaten to sever this ancient journey, endangering the species' survival. Bighorn sheep, genetically isolated in the Tetons, face the constant risk of disease transmission from nearby domestic herds, jeopardizing their fragile populations. Even within protected areas, the cumulative impact of recreation can degrade habitats and disturb sensitive wildlife. Increased human-wildlife encounters raise the risk of conflict, often with dire consequences for both animals and ecosystems. The future of Wyoming's wilderness depends on bold, science-driven conservation efforts and a steadfast commitment to stewardship. Conservationists are working tirelessly to restore habitats, build wildlife corridors, and monitor ecosystem health, adapting strategies to meet the challenges of a changing world. Innovative solutions such as wildlife overpasses and wetland restoration are helping to reconnect fragmented landscapes and bolster ecosystem resilience. Ongoing scientific research is essential, tracking animal movements, monitoring climate impacts, and informing adaptive management to safeguard these wild places. Above all, the Wyoming wilderness remains a living testament to the power and beauty of nature, an irreplaceable legacy that demands our respect and protection. These lands are natural archives, preserving the story of life on Earth and the intricate relationships that sustain it. Protecting Yellowstone, Grand Teton, and the wild heart of Wyoming is not only about saving species and scenery, it is about ensuring the survival of a living, breathing wilderness for the future. The choices we make today will determine whether these wild places endure, untamed, resilient, and thriving for generations yet to come. Gap 2s, flowing quietly through the heart of Wyoming's wilderness, rivers and lakes form the essential veins and arteries of these untamed lands. The Snake River, born in the high snowfields of Yellowstone, winds its way through ancient valleys and rugged canyons, nourishing the ecosystems it touches. Along its journey, it gathers the meltwater of receding glaciers and winter snows, providing a lifeline to the region's plants and animals. The beaver, nature's master engineer, transforms sluggish streams into vibrant wetlands, creating deep pools and lush meadows where amphibians breed and moose wade in search of aquatic plants. These wetlands, teeming with life, serve as nurseries for countless species, from the delicate chorus frog to the elusive river otter, whose playful antics reveal the health of the waterway. In the crystalline lakes scattered across the landscape, like Jackson Lake, Heart Lake, and Yellowstone Lake, trout glide through cool, oxygen-rich waters. Cutthroat trout, once abundant, now face competition from non-native species and shifting water temperatures. Yet their annual spawning runs remain a vital spectacle, drawing grizzly bears and bald eagles to feast along gravel bars and shallow streams. Along the shorelines, willows and cottonwoods anchor the soil, their roots filtering runoff and preventing erosion. Dragonflies dart above the rippling surface, while waterfowl, trumpeter swans, common loons, and American white pelicans nest in secluded coves, raising their young in the safety of the wetlands. Seasonal floods recharge groundwater, sustain lush riparian corridors, and shape the land with each passing year. These dynamic forces create a mosaic of habitats, backwaters, oxbows, and marshes that support a staggering diversity of life. Elk and deer visit to drink at dawn, while wolves and mountain lions track their prey along the water's edge. Beneath the surface, aquatic insects form the base of a complex food web, nourishing fish, birds, and mammals alike. The clarity and purity of these waters are a testament to the resilience of the surrounding forests and meadows, but they are not immune to change. As climate patterns shift and droughts intensify, water levels drop, temperatures rise, and the balance of life is threatened. Yet in every ripple and eddy, the interconnectedness of river, lake, and land is revealed. Here, the wild heart of Wyoming beats strongest, sustaining ancient migrations, sheltering rare and secretive creatures, and offering sanctuary to all who depend on its flow. The rivers and lakes of Wyoming are not merely features of the landscape. They are the lifeblood of an enduring wilderness, carrying the promise of renewal with every turn of the current. Rising above the rivers and lakes, Wyoming's forests form an emerald tapestry that stretches across sweeping foothills and rugged mountainsides. These woodlands, dominated by lodgepole pine, Engelmann spruce, subalpine fir, and trembling aspen, are the lungs of the wild, breathing life into the landscape and sheltering a wealth of biodiversity beneath their boughs. In spring, as snow melts away, the forest floor awakens in a riot of green. Delicate wildflowers, glacier lilies, lupines, and Indian paintbrush carpet the understory, their blooms attracting pollinators like bumblebees and butterflies. The air, fresh and cool, carries the calls of songbirds returning from distant wintering grounds. Western tanagers flash through the branches, while hermit thrushes fill the woods with their ethereal melodies. As summer deepens, the canopy thickens, filtering sunlight into shifting patterns across the mossy ground. Here, red squirrels scamper along fallen logs, and pine martens prowl the shadows in search of prey. In the dense thickets, snowshoe hares and mule deer browse on tender shoots, ever watchful for the silent approach of a lynx or the sudden shadow of a great horned owl. The forests are alive with intricate relationships. Mycorrhizal fungi weave unseen networks among the roots, exchanging nutrients and binding the soil. Fallen trees, slowly decaying, provide shelter for salamanders and beetles, while woodpeckers carve out nesting cavities that will be used by countless other creatures in the years to come. Autumn transforms the woods into a spectacle of color. Aspens shimmer in gold, their leaves quaking in the wind, while groves of cottonwood and willow blaze with orange and crimson hues. Elk gather in the clearings, their bugles echoing through the crisp air as they prepare for winter's arrival. Bears roam the berry-laden slopes, building reserves for the long sleep ahead. When winter descends, snow muffles the forest in silence. The evergreens stand stoic, their branches heavy with white. Beneath the surface, life endures. Voles tunnel through insulating drifts, grouse huddle in snow burrows, and the seeds of next year's wildflowers lie dormant, waiting for the sun's return. These forests are not only a haven for wildlife, but also guardians of the land. Their roots anchor the soil, preventing erosion. Their fallen needles enrich the earth, nurturing the next generation. Every tree stores carbon, quietly buffering the effects of a changing climate. The mosaic of old-growth stands, young saplings and recovering burns creates a dynamic, ever-evolving habitat that supports resilience and renewal. From the wind-swept ridges to the sheltered valleys, Wyoming's forests are a living legacy, silent witnesses to the ebb and flow of seasons, and vital threads in the intricate web of life. Here the wild persists, sheltered beneath the living canopy, promising hope and continuity for generations yet to come. Beyond the towering forests and rugged peaks, Wyoming unfolds into a vast rolling sea of prairies and grasslands. Here the land stretches toward the horizon, in waves of gold and green, shaped by wind, weather, and time. Dominated by resilient grasses, blue grama, western wheatgrass, and needle and thread, these open spaces are anchored by deep roots that hold the soil against relentless gusts and conserve precious moisture during drought. Scattered through the grasses, sagebrush and wildflowers, like scarlet globemallow and purple prairie clover, dot the plains with bursts of color from spring into late summer. These hardy plants have evolved to thrive in extremes, enduring scorching summers, biting winter winds, and sudden thunderstorms that sweep across the landscape with dramatic speed. Life here is shaped by adaptation. Herds of pronghorn antelope graze the open fields, their keen vision and unmatched speed a legacy of ancient predators. American bison, once nearly vanished, now roam select preserves, their heavy frames sculpting the prairie as they wallow and graze, dispersing seeds and opening niches for new growth. Burrowing owls and prairie dogs share a subterranean world, their tunnels aerating the earth and providing shelter for countless other creatures, from black-footed ferrets to snakes and insects. Above, the sky is alive with movement. Swainson's hawks and northern harriers glide low over the grasses, hunting for small mammals and grasshoppers. Meadowlarks, perched atop fence posts, send their flute-like songs across the breeze, marking territories and attracting mates. In wetter pockets, marsh wrens and red-winged blackbirds gather among cattails and sedges. Weather is a constant architect. Thunderheads billow in the afternoon heat, unleashing rain that transforms the land in a matter of hours. Lightning-ignited fires, once a natural part of the cycle, clear old growth and return nutrients to the soil, making way for a flush of new life. In winter, blizzards sweep across the plains, driving herds to seek shelter in low draws and windbreaks. Every inch of the prairie is a tapestry of interactions. Grasshoppers feed on tough stems, becoming prey for birds and small mammals. Mycorrhizal fungi link roots beneath the surface, sharing water and minerals and knitting the ecosystem together. Coyotes and badgers, unlikely partners, sometimes hunt in tandem, one digging, the other waiting for fleeing prey. Wyoming's grasslands are more than empty spaces. They are vibrant ecosystems, shaped by resilience and renewal. These prairies store carbon, filter water, and sustain a diversity of life uniquely adapted to the rhythm of open sky and endless wind. In their quiet persistence, the grasslands echo the heart of the American West, vast, wild, and ever-changing. As daylight fades and the last bands of sunset slip behind the horizon, Wyoming's wild heart enters a new chapter. The prairies, forests, and mountains transform in the hush of dusk, their day-lit dramas giving way to a world ruled by shadows and moonlight. Beneath a sky that reveals more stars than city eyes ever see, the wilderness stirs with subtle movement. Nocturnal creatures, hidden during the sun's reign, emerge to claim their hours. The haunting call of a great horned owl echoes through the trees, its yellow gaze scanning the ground for a careless vole. Silent wings cut the air as bats flit between cottonwoods, weaving through invisible corridors to snatch insects drawn by the cool night air. On the open prairie, pronghorn and mule deer become silhouettes against the dim glow, their senses sharpened for the approach of silent predators. Coyotes, masters of the dark, slip like shadows through the grass, their yips and howls forming an eerie chorus that travels for miles across the plains. In the undergrowth, badgers and raccoons begin their nightly search for food, their movements careful and deliberate beneath the cover of darkness. Elsewhere, the chorus of amphibians swells. In hidden ponds and marshy hollows, boreal chorus frogs and western toads sing into the night, their voices rising in a shimmering wall of sound. Crickets and katydids add their own rhythms, the steady pulse of their chirps blending with the wind's gentle whisper through sage and grass. Above, the Milky Way spills across the sky in a stream of pale silver, unbroken by city lights. Wyoming's remoteness offers a rare glimpse into the cosmos. Meteor showers streak the heavens, and the faint glow of distant galaxies hints at the vastness beyond. On cloudless nights, the constellations wheel overhead, guiding migratory birds on silent wings, unseen but not unheard. Every sound and shadow is part of an intricate nocturnal symphony, a living tapestry woven from predator and prey, song and silence, earth and sky. Here, in the deep hours of night, life does not sleep. It simply changes rhythm. Wyoming's wilderness, so vibrant beneath the sun, reveals a quieter yet equally dazzling side when darkness falls. A world where every rustle, every starlit movement speaks of survival, connection, and the enduring mystery of the wild. Across Wyoming's vast landscapes, a quiet transformation is underway, one not driven by the passage of day and night, but by the relentless advance of climate change. This force, largely invisible, yet deeply consequential, is reshaping the state's wilderness in ways both subtle and profound. In the high country, mountain snowpacks are melting earlier each spring. These early thaws disrupt the delicate timing of nature's cycles. Rivers and streams, once swollen with gradual snowmelt, now surge and recede unpredictably, challenging fish like the cutthroat trout to adapt to altered flows and warmer waters. Lower water levels in late summer threaten aquatic habitats, while rising temperatures stress species already living near the edge of their range. On the prairies and grasslands, prolonged droughts and shifting precipitation patterns are changing the very face of the land. Native grasses struggle to compete with invasive species better suited to hotter, drier conditions. The intricate web of life, pronghorn, jackrabbits, sage-grouse, must adjust as food sources dwindle and shelter grows sparse. Wildfires, fueled by parched vegetation, burn more frequently and with greater intensity, leaving scars that take years to heal. Wyoming's forests, too, are under siege. Warmer winters allow bark beetle populations to flourish, infesting and killing millions of lodgepole and ponderosa pines. The loss of these trees not only alters habitats for birds and mammals, but also increases the risk of catastrophic fires and disrupts the balance of entire ecosystems. Even the alpine tundra, perched atop the state's highest peaks, is not immune. As temperatures climb, species adapted to cold, harsh environments, like the American pika, face shrinking habitats, unable to move higher in search of cooler refuge. Yet amid these challenges, the resilience of Wyoming's wild places endures. Some species adapt, shifting their ranges or changing their behaviors. Ecological corridors become vital highways, allowing wildlife to move in response to changing conditions. Scientists and conservationists work tirelessly to monitor these shifts, seeking solutions that balance the needs of nature with the realities of a warming world. The impact of climate change is written in every altered migration, every stressed stream, every fire-scarred hillside. It is a story unfolding in real time, a reminder that even the most remote and rugged wilderness is connected to the global climate system. In Wyoming, as elsewhere, the future of the wild depends on our ability to understand, adapt, and act. Wyoming's landscape is sculpted not only by time and tectonics, but also by the dramatic forces of weather that sweep across its plains, mountains, and valleys. Here, the sky is an ever-changing canvas, where sudden storms, blizzards, and relentless winds shape the world below. In summer, towering cumulonimbus clouds build over the mountains, their dark bases signaling the approach of powerful thunderstorms. Lightning forks across the horizon, illuminating distant ridges in electric brilliance. These storms unleash torrential downpours and hail, drumming the earth and swelling streams in a matter of minutes. Flash floods carve new channels through canyons, while the reverberating thunder sends elk and deer seeking shelter in dense forests. Winter brings its own spectacle. Arctic air descends from the north, colliding with moist Pacific fronts to create blizzards that sweep across the high plains and mountain passes. Snow falls thick and fast, blanketing the land in a pristine silence. Drifts pile high against lodgepole pines and sagebrush, creating barriers that challenge bison, elk, and pronghorn to find food and warmth. For some, like the snowshoe hare, the deep snows provide camouflage and safety. For others, the struggle for survival intensifies. Perhaps most iconic of all is Wyoming's wind, a constant, unseen force that sculpts both land and life. Channeling through open valleys and over jagged peaks, these powerful gusts can exceed 70 miles per hour. They shape the limber pine, bending trunks and branches into twisted, resilient forms. On the grasslands, wind sweeps seeds far and wide, ensuring the renewal of native prairie. Raptors soar on thermal updrafts, scanning the earth for movement below, while smaller birds seek refuge in sheltered hollows. These weather phenomena are more than mere background. They are architects of adaptation. Wildlife times its movements to the rhythms of rain and snow. Plants develop deep roots or tough, waxy leaves to withstand drought and windburn. Even the landscape itself bears the marks of weather's relentless artistry. Wind-carved rock formations, flood-scoured stream beds, and frost-heaved soils. In Wyoming, weather is not just a forecast, it is a living force, unpredictable and awe-inspiring. It tests the resilience of every creature, shapes the path of every river, and reminds all who dwell here that nature's power is both a challenge and a wonder. Beneath Wyoming's wild weather and vibrant life lies a story written in stone, a saga spanning hundreds of millions of years. To understand the land as it is today, we must look deep into its geological past, where ancient forces shaped mountains, valleys, and plains long before the first bison roamed the grasslands. The tale begins over 2.5 billion years ago, during the Precambrian era. Here, deep within the earth, molten rock cooled and solidified, forming the crystalline basement rocks that still anchor the core of the Wind River and Teton ranges. Over eons, oceans advanced and retreated across Wyoming, leaving behind thick layers of sediment, sandstone, shale, and limestone, each stratum a silent witness to vanished seas and distant shores. The rise and fall of mountain ranges is written across Wyoming's horizons. During the Laramide orogeny, some 70 million years ago, relentless tectonic forces thrust massive blocks of rock skyward, giving birth to the Rocky Mountains. Faults and folds contorted the earth, while volcanic eruptions blanketed the region with ash and lava, creating the Absaroka Range's rugged peaks. The land itself heaved and buckled, carving out basins that would one day cradle vast lakes and lush forests. Erosion became the sculptor, wind and water chiseling away at uplifted stone. Over millions of years, rivers cut deep canyons, like the yawning chasm of the Snake River and the intricate terraces of the Green River Basin. Glaciers, too, left their mark, grinding and polishing granite to smooth domes, then retreating to leave behind moraines and sparkling alpine lakes. Wyoming's rocks are more than scenery. They are a library of ancient life. Fossil beds, such as those at Fossil Butte and the Morrison Formation, reveal a lost world of giant dinosaurs, prehistoric fish, and subtropical plants. In the Badlands of the Bighorn Basin, petrified wood and ancient footprints tell of forests and creatures that vanished with changing climates. The formations themselves are a mosaic, the red beds of the Chugwater Formation, the fossil-rich limestones of the Madison Group, the volcanic breccias of the Absarokas. Deep below, the tectonic story continues. The Yellowstone hotspot, a plume of magma rising from the mantle, has shaped the landscape in dramatic bursts, supervolcano eruptions that sent ash clouds across continents and left behind vast calderas. Today, the geothermal wonders of Yellowstone, its geysers, hot springs, and fumaroles, are vivid reminders that the Earth's forces remain restless beneath Wyoming's surface. From the oldest rocks to the youngest volcanic flows, Wyoming's geological history is a chronicle of constant transformation. Each cliff, canyon, and fossil is a chapter in a story that predates humanity, a testament to the deep time that shaped this land into the wild sanctuary it is today. Across Wyoming's sweeping landscapes, a quieter drama unfolds, one written not in stone, but in the fragile lives of rare and endangered species. Here, survival is measured in heartbeats, in the rustle of wings, in the silent footfalls of creatures few will ever see. In the remote sagebrush steppe, the greater sage-grouse performs its ancient dance at dawn, fanning spiked tail feathers and inflating air sacs in a ritual as old as the land itself. Once abundant, these birds now teeter on the brink, their fate entwined with the fate of the sagebrush sea, an ecosystem steadily shrinking under the pressure of development and invasive species. High in the snow-laced peaks, the elusive Canada lynx slips through dense conifer forests. With its tufted ears and oversized paws, it's a ghost of the alpine wild, rarely glimpsed yet vital to the balance of predator and prey. Its domain, the cold deep forests, is threatened by warming winters and the fragmentation of its woodland home. Beneath the surface of crystal-clear mountain streams, the Wyoming toad clings to existence. Once common in the Laramie Basin, this amphibian now survives only in carefully managed refuges, a living reminder of how delicate the thread of life can be. Conservationists labor to restore its numbers, rearing toads in captivity and releasing them into protected wetlands in a race against extinction. In the shadow of the Tetons, grizzly bears roam the forests and meadows, symbols of untamed wilderness. Their numbers have rebounded, yet they remain at risk. Habitat loss, human conflict, and the shifting availability of food all threaten their future. Each bear is a testament to decades of conservation and to the ongoing struggle to coexist with one of North America's great predators. Rare plants, too, find sanctuary in Wyoming's hidden corners. The desert yellowhead, with its brilliant blooms, grows on wind-swept limestone outcrops, its entire global population confined to a few square miles. It is a flower both humble and heroic, surviving against the odds in a world rapidly changing. Every endangered species is a living legacy, a thread in the intricate tapestry of Wyoming's wild. Their habitats, from sagebrush plains to alpine meadows, are sanctuaries not just for themselves, but for countless other forms of life. Protecting these species means protecting the wild spirit of Wyoming itself, The challenge is immense, but hope persists in the dedicated work of conservationists, in the resilience of the land, and in the quiet persistence of the creatures themselves. For as long as these rare lives endure, Wyoming's wild heart continues to beat, echoing through mountains, forests, and prairies, a call to cherish and defend what is irreplaceable. As the seasons shift, Wyoming's wild places come alive with movement, a secret choreography written into the instincts of animals great and small. Across vast skies and open landscapes, ancient migration routes unfurl, guiding countless birds and mammals on epic journeys of survival. Each spring, the air above Wyoming stirs with wings. Sandhill cranes, their calls echoing like distant trumpets, return from wintering grounds far to the south. In elegant formation, they ride thermals and tailwinds, following river valleys and mountain corridors that have been their passage for millennia. Behind them, flocks of mountain bluebirds and warblers sweep north, painting the sky with flashes of color as they seek summer breeding grounds, hidden among alpine meadows and forested slopes. On the ground, the hoofbeats of mule deer and pronghorn mark one of North America's longest overland migrations. Pronghorn herds, swift and tireless, traverse more than 100 miles between the sagebrush basins of winter and the lush foothills and plains of summer. Their route, perilous and unchanged, leads them across rivers, beneath highways, and through narrow mountain passes, testing their endurance and adaptability at every turn. Alongside them, mule deer navigate rugged ridgelines and shadowed valleys, guided by memory and the subtle cues of changing light and temperature. These migrations are not without hazards. Late snows can block mountain passes, while drought shrinks vital stopover wetlands. Fences, roads, and development pose new obstacles, fragmenting ancient pathways and forcing detours that sap precious energy. Yet the drive to move, etched deep in muscle and bone, remains irresistible. For the ecosystem, these journeys are lifeblood. Migrating birds disperse seeds and pollinate flowers, stitching together the health of forests and prairies. Grazing herds shape the land, trimming grasses and fertilizing soils, supporting a web of predators and scavengers that depend on their presence. Even in death, their bodies feed the cycle of renewal, sustaining life through the harshest seasons. As autumn approaches, the great exodus begins anew. Birds gather in restless flocks, their songs a farewell to summer's abundance. Pronghorn and deer retrace their steps, guided by the promise of shelter and food in lower valleys. Through storm and starlight, over mountains and plains, they follow the invisible highways of instinct, an unbroken link to the wild rhythms of Wyoming. In these migrations, the land and its creatures are bound together by time, tradition, and the enduring need to move. Each journey tells a story of resilience, connection, and the ever-changing face of the wild. Beneath the sweeping vistas and dramatic migrations, an intricate web of life pulses quietly through Wyoming's wilderness. Here, every creature, no matter how small or elusive, plays a role in a vast, living network of relationships woven over centuries. Along the cool, shaded banks of alpine streams, the delicate caddisfly begins its life encased in a tiny shelter of pebbles. Seemingly insignificant, these larvae are a critical food source for native cutthroat trout, whose presence is a sign of pure, undisturbed waters. The trout in turn feed river otters and osprey, linking the aquatic world to the forests above. High among the lodgepole pines, red squirrels gather and cache the cones they depend on for winter survival. But their hidden hoards do more than sustain the squirrels. Forgotten seeds take root, ensuring the forest's renewal after fire or frost. Meanwhile, Clark's nutcrackers, clever birds with remarkable memory, disperse whitebark pine seeds across the high slopes, planting the next generation of trees that shelter grizzly bears and pine martens alike. On the open sagebrush sea, a lesser-known drama unfolds. Sagebrush obligately supports the greater sage grouse, whose elaborate courtship dances depend on healthy stands of this aromatic plant. Yet the sagebrush itself relies on soil bacteria and fungi, an invisible partnership that helps roots draw nutrients from Wyoming's arid earth. These microscopic allies form the foundation of food chains that support burrowing owls, swift foxes, and insect pollinators, each species intertwined with the fate of the rest. In the tangled undergrowth, the relationship between ants and aphids reveals another layer of connection. Ants tend flocks of aphids, protecting them from predators in exchange for sweet honeydew, a tiny transaction that ripples outward, attracting birds and spiders and fueling the next link in the food web. Even the bones of the fallen have their place. When a bison carcass returns to the land, it becomes a banquet for wolves, ravens, and beetles. As scavengers and decomposers break down flesh and bone, they release nutrients that feed wildflowers and grasses, closing a loop that began with sunlight and soil. These are the hidden connections, subtle, complex, and vital. In Wyoming's wild tapestry, survival is not a solitary endeavor. Every interaction, from the microscopic to the monumental, shapes a world where life depends on life, and the smallest thread can hold the fate of the wild.